Sophia burst through the apartment door like a storm finally breaking free. Her laughter echoing off the peeling wallpaper of their cramped Brooklyn walk-up. Rain slicked her auburn hair, turning it into wild curls that framed her flushed cheeks. And in her hand she clutched a crumpled letter. The kind that smelled of fresh ink and impossible dreams. Amelia looked up from the kitchen table. Her scrubs still stained from a 12-hour shift at the ER. A half-eaten sandwich forgotten beside her. The words hung in the air before Sophia even spoke them. You got it. The callback. Broadway. Amelia's heart stuttered. A familiar ache blooming in her chest. Not from the exhaustion that clung to her bones like damp fog, but from the way Sophia's eyes lit up. Green and fierce. Pulling her in like gravity she could never escape. She stood slowly. The chair scraping against the linoleum with a sound that felt too loud in the sudden hush. Sophia crossed the room in 2 strides. Throwing her arms around Amelia's neck. The letter crinkling between them. It's real. Mel. They want me. After all this time scraping by in off-Broadway holes. Singing to empty seats. Amelia held her tight. Inhaling the scent of rain and cheap coffee from Sophia's all-nighter at the diner. Her own breath catching as Sophia's body pressed close. Warm and alive in ways that twisted something deep inside her. She had always been the older one. Born 2 years ahead but feeling like decades. The shield between their fractured family and the world that kept trying to break them. Their parents gone too soon. Car wreck on the Belt Parkway. Leaving debts that piled up like unpaid bills under the mattress. Amelia had dropped out of nursing school to work full shifts. Then overtime. Then doubles. Anything to keep the lights on for Sophia's auditions. Her classes. Her spark. And now this. A shine she had watched flicker for years. Finally catching fire. But as Sophia pulled back. Her grin splitting wide. Amelia felt the weight settle heavier. The rent was 3 months late. The hospital had cut her hours again. Citing budgets tighter than a noose. And Sophia's tuition for that last vocal coaching session? It had come out of Amelia's emergency fund. The one that was now just a ghost. She forced a smile. Her voice steady despite the tremor in her throat. Tell me everything. From the top. Sophia launched into it. Pacing the tiny living room with its sagging couch and posters of faded stars taped to the walls. The director, some hotshot from Chicago with a Tony under his belt, had stopped her mid-song during callbacks. His eyes narrowing like he was seeing her for the first time. Understudy for the lead in that new musical about lost girls finding their voices. Rehearsals start in 2 weeks. And if the star flakes, which everyone knows she will, I'm in. Sophia spun. Arms wide. Nearly knocking over the lamp Amelia had salvaged from a curbside trash heap. We can celebrate. Cheap wine from the bodega. Or pizza. God. Real pizza. Not the frozen kind. Amelia nodded. Her mind already racing ahead to the math that never added up. She watched Sophia's hands gesture wildly. Painting the stage in her imagination. The spotlight that should have been hers if life had dealt fairer cards. At 35. Amelia was a fixture in the ER. Stitching wounds and starting IVs for strangers who never said thank you. Her own dreams of specializing in pediatrics buried under shifts that left her hollow. Lesbian in a world that still whispered about it in hushed tones. Especially when your sister was the sun you orbited. Too close. Too constant. She had dated here and there. Quiet women from the hospital cafeteria who faded like morning mist. None able to touch the quiet fire Sophia ignited without knowing. That night? As Sophia hummed scales in the shower. Steam curling under the bathroom door. Amelia sat on the fire escape. The city humming below like a beast that never slept. Cigarette smoke curled from her lips. A habit she had picked up in nursing school and never shook. The ember glowing orange against the sodium-lit streets. She pulled out her phone. Scrolling through the classifieds she had bookmarked weeks ago but never clicked. Discreet companionship for discerning gentlemen. Flexible hours. Generous compensation. Her thumb hovered. Heart pounding a rhythm that matched the distant siren wail. For Sophia. For the shine. She hit apply before the doubt could swallow her whole. The response came faster than expected. An email from a service called Velvet Shadows. All polished pros and NDAs attached like shackles. Interview tomorrow. Discretion assured. Amelia deleted the history, her fingers trembling as she lit another smoke. When Sophia emerged, towel-wrapped and glowing, humming that callback song, Amelia pulled her into a hug on the couch, holding on just a second too long. "I'm so proud of you, Soph. You deserve this. More than anything." Sophia nestled closer, head on Amelia's shoulder, her sigh soft against the crook of her neck. "What would I do without you, big sis? You're my rock." Amelia closed her eyes, the words a bomb and a blade, her hand stroking Sophia's damp hair in slow circles. The city lights blurred beyond the window, a mosaic of lives she would never touch. Sleep came fitful that night. Dreams tangled with stage lights and shadowed hotel rooms. Sophia's laughter echoing like a promise she might break. Morning broke gray and insistent, coffee brewing strong to chase away the chill. Sophia left for a rehearsal run-through, kissing Amelia's cheek with a quick "I'm late. Love you." The door clicking shut behind her like the first act curtain falling. Amelia dressed in her best jeans and a blouse that hid the fatigue lines under her eyes. The ones that came from too many nights wondering if she was enough. The interview was in Midtown, a sleek office disguised as a modeling agency. The receptionist all smiles and non-disclosure forms. The woman across the desk, mid-40s with a sharp bob and sharper eyes, leaned forward, appraising Amelia like a cut of meat. Experience. Discretion. Boundaries. Amelia answered in clipped tones, her nurse's calm masking the nausea rising in her gut. She signed the contract, the pen scratching like claws on paper. First client tomorrow evening. Cash up front. Back home, the apartment felt smaller, the walls pressing in with the weight of what she had done. She cooked pasta from a box, the sauce simmering too long and turning bitter, much like her thoughts. Sophia texted midway through, nailed the dance sequence. "Drinks after. Join us." Amelia typed back a no. Swamped at work, her lie settling heavy as the steam from the pot. She ate alone, fork scraping plate, the silence broken only by the neighbor's TV droning infomercials. When the knock came at 8, she assumed it was Sophia forgetting her key again. But it was the super. Envelope in hand. Eviction notice. Final warning. She crumpled it in her fist, the paper cutting into her palm like a promise of failure. That night, she lay awake, Sophia's soft breathing from the shared bed a rhythm she matched breath for breath. Her arm draped protectively over her sister's waist in the dark. The city outside whispered temptations. Deals struck in shadows. And Amelia wondered if selling pieces of herself could buy back the whole world for the one person who made it worth the cost. Dawn crept in slow, painting the room in hesitant gold. And with it came resolve. Brittle as bone but unyielding. She would watch Sophia shine, even if it dimmed her own light to nothing. Sophia stirred, murmuring in her sleep, her hand finding Amelia's in the tangle of sheets. "Stay," it seemed to say, though words never formed. Amelia pressed a kiss to her forehead, light as a secret, and slipped from bed. The day unfolded in fragments, shift at the hospital. Blood and beeping monitors. A child's fever breaking under her steady hands. Lunch was a granola bar in the break room. Stolen glances at her phone for updates from Velvet Shadows. Client profile, businessman. Polite. No marks. Rules clear. She nodded to herself in the locker room mirror. Hazel eyes staring back defiant. Lips pressed thin. For the family. For the shine. Evening fell like a curtain. The subway rattling her toward a hotel in Chelsea. All brass and marble that screamed money she had never touched. The elevator hummed upward, her reflection distorted in the polished doors. A woman she barely recognized. Room 1408. Knock soft. Smile warm. The door opened to a man in his 50s. Suit rumpled from travel. Eyes tired but kind. Dinner first, he said, gesturing to the room service cart. They talked of nothing. Weather and work. His merger woes and her fabricated tales of night classes. Wine loosened tongues. But not hers. When the moment came, she moved through it like a procedure. Clinical and detached. Her mind drifting to Sophia's laugh. The way her voice cracked on high notes. Pure and unbroken. Cash exchanged hands in the dim lobby light. Thick envelope heavy in her purse. Taxi back to Brooklyn. The city blurring past in neon streaks. Her skin crawling under the shower she took scalding hot upon arrival. Sophia was out still. Post-rehearsal glow carrying her to some dive bar in the village. Amelia counted the bills on the kitchen table. Enough for rent and then some. Her fingers tracing the edges like forbidden maps. She tucked it away. Heart aching with a mix of relief and revulsion. The first crack in the armor she had forged so long ago. Sleep evaded her again. The bed too empty without Sophia's warmth. Dreams laced with spotlights and shadowed embraces that blurred the line between sister and something more dangerous. More alive. Weeks blurred into a rhythm Amelia came to dread and depend on. The days bleeding into nights of sterile hospital bays and perfumed hotel suites. Sophia's rehearsals consumed her. The apartment alive with snippets of song and frustrated curses over blocking notes. Her energy a whirlwind that left Amelia breathless in its wake. They shared stolen moments amid the chaos, breakfasts of burnt toast and black coffee. Sophia's feet in Amelia's lap as they pored over scripts on the couch. Laughter bubbling up like champagne when a line landed just right. Amelia watched it all. Her smiles genuine but edged with the secret gnawing at her core. The envelope of cash growing fatter under the loose floorboard in her closet. One afternoon. Rain lashing the windows like accusations. Sophia collapsed onto the bed after a grueling 12-hour call. Her leotard damp with sweat. Muscles quivering from lifts she nailed on the third try. Amelia knelt beside her. Rubbing circles into her calves. The touch lingering longer than care demanded. Her thumbs pressing into knots that mirrored her own unspoken tensions. "You okay, kiddo?" she murmured. Voice low to match the storm's rumble. Sophia sighed. Deep and shuddering. Her hand covering Amelia's. Holding it there. "It's exhausting, Mel. But good exhausting. Like I'm finally becoming someone." Amelia's throat tightened. The words a echo of her own buried longings. The pediatrics rotation she had abandoned for these walls. This life of proxies and pretense. She leaned down. Forehead resting against Sophia's knee. Inhaling the faint salt of her skin. "You always were someone. Soft. Brighter than all of us combined." Sophia tugged her up. Pulling her into the bed's tangle. Bodies aligning in that easy sisterly sprawl that had sustained them through funerals and foreclosures. But as Sophia's arm draped over her waist. Breath warm against her neck. Amelia felt the shift. The forbidden heat coiling low in her belly. A desire she had named and renamed over years of quiet watching. She pulled away gently. Excusing herself to the kitchen for water. The cold glass grounding her as thunder cracked overhead. That night? Her client was a lawyer from D.C. All polished charm and probing questions she deflected with practiced ease. The suite overlooked the Hudson. Lights twinkling like distant stars mocking her isolation. Afterward. In the cab home. She stared at her reflection in the window. The woman staring back hollow-eyed. Lips bruised from feigned passion. The cash bought time, rent paid. Sophia's new headshots printed glossy. A vocal coach session that had the director buzzing. But each deposit felt like carving out a piece of her soul. Leaving echoes in the empty spaces. Sophia noticed the changes in fragments. Her intuition sharp as a stage cue. "You're tired, Mel. More than usual. Skipping dinners. Coming home smelling of unfamiliar cologne masked by soap." Amelia waved it off with jokes about extra shifts. The hospital's endless parade of emergencies. But the lies stacked like bricks. Building a wall she feared Sophia would one day scale. One evening. After a rare night in together. Takeout Chinese spread on the coffee table. Sophia set down her chopsticks. Eyes searching Amelia's face across the steam rising from lo mein. What's going on with you? Really? Amelia's fork paused midway. Heart slamming against her ribs. The room felt too small. The air thick with unspoken truths. She set the food aside. Drawing her knees up. The couch sagging under the weight of the moment. Work's rough. Budget cuts. But we'll manage. Always do. Sophia scooted closer. Her hand on Amelia's knee. Thumb tracing absent patterns that sent sparks up her spine. It's not just work. You're fading. Like you're carrying the whole damn world again. Let me help. For once. The offer hung there. Sweet and impossible. Amelia's chest aching with the urge to spill it all. To let Sophia's arms be the confessional she craved. Instead, she covered that hand with her own. Squeezing until the bones pressed white. You've got the show. Soph. That's your world now. Shine for both of us. Sophia's eyes softened. But the worry lingered. A shadow in their green depths. She leaned in. Hugging Amelia fierce. Her lips brushing the shell of her ear in a whisper meant to comfort. I love you. You know that. More than anything. Amelia nodded into her shoulder. The words igniting that dangerous warmth again. Her arms tightening as if she could hold on to the innocence of it forever. They fell asleep like that. Tangled on the couch. The TV flickering some old rom-com neither watched. Sophia's heart beat a lullaby against her chest. Dreams came vivid that night, stages awash in light. Sophia sent her canvas. But the audience was empty save for Amelia in the shadows. Applauding alone. She woke to Sophia humming in the kitchen. Pancakes flipping with optimistic sizzles. The domesticity a fragile shield against the storm building inside. The call came mid-shift. Pager silent for once as she sutured a gash on a construction worker's hand. Steady hands betraying the chaos in her mind. Velvet shadows. New client. High roller. Double the rate. Tomorrow night. She agreed without hesitation. The needle-piercing flesh a metaphor she couldn't shake. That evening, Sophia dragged her to a rehearsal peak. The theater in the garment district humming with pre-show buzz. Dancers stretching in the wings. Amelia sat in the back row. Half hidden in dimness. Watching Sophia take the stage for a run-through. Her voice soaring on notes that peeled back layers of Amelia's restraint. The understudy spot was solidifying. Whispers of the lead's diva antics filtering through the cast. Sophia's name murmured with growing respect. Afterward. In the alley behind the stage door. Sophia emerged flushed and exhilarated. Pulling Amelia into a spin under the street lamp's glow. Did you see that high C? Clean as a whistle. Amelia laughed. Genuine for the first time in days. Twirling her sister until dizziness claimed them both. Collapsing against the brick wall in a heap of giggles. You're magic. Soph. Pure magic. Sophia's grin faded slightly. Her hand lingering on Amelia's arm. Come out with us tonight. The cast's hitting that Irish pub on 9th. One drink. Amelia hesitated. The envelope of cash burning a hole in her pocket. The next shadow waiting. Rain started again. Light mist that beaded on their lashes. Next time. She promised. Sealing it with a kiss to Sophia's temple. The touch electric. Lingering. Sophia pouted but relented. Hailing a cab for them both. The ride home silent save for the wiper's rhythm. Hands brushing accidental on the seat between. Home brought no solace. The floorboards secret heavier with each edition. Amelia showered away the day's grime. But not the guilt. Water cascading like tears she refused to shed. Sophia crashed early. Script open on her chest. Breaths even in sleep. Amelia sat vigil. Brushing a curl from her forehead. The gesture intimate. Aching. She had always protected this. The fragility beneath the shine. From their mother's addictions and their father's rages. From the world that chewed up dreamers and spat out husks. Selling herself was just the latest armor. Forged in desperation. But as Sophia murmured her name in sleep, Amelia wondered if the cost was etching lines too deep to erase. The double-rate client was a venture capitalist. Early 40s. All sharp suits and sharper appetites. The penthouse in Tribeca a glass area overlooking the glittering sprawl. Dinner was foie gras and small talk about markets crashing. His laugh booming as he poured scotch neat. Amelia played the part. Flirtatious nurse with a wild side. Her laughter light. Touches calculated. The night stretched. His hands insistent. Her mind retreating to safer harbors, Sophia's voice in the shower. The curve of her smile over morning coffee. Dawn found her slipping out. Envelope thick as sin. Cab fare home a luxury she denied herself. Walking the bridges instead. The East River churning below like her thoughts. Sophia was up when she arrived. Concern etching her features as she took in the disheveled blouse. The shadows under eyes that matched her own. Rough night. She didn't pry. Just brewed tea strong and sweet. Pulling Amelia to the table with a quiet "we're in this together." The words nearly broke her. Tears pricking hot. But Amelia swallowed them down. Nodding into her cup. Always. Soft. Always. The day unfolded lazy. Rare off-shift for Amelia. Spent in flannel pajamas binging old musicals. Sophia belting along from the kitchen. Their laughter weaving a temporary truce. But beneath it, the current pulled stronger. Desires unspoken bubbling like the plot twists neither saw coming. Summer heat blanketed the city like a fever. The apartment a sweatbox where fans whirred futile against the sticky air. Sophia's rehearsals intensified. The musical's opening looming 3 months out. Her days a blur of marks and measures. Nights collapsing into exhausted sleep that left Amelia alone with her shadows. The Velvet Shadows roster grew familiar. Clients blending into archetypes, the lonely exec. The thrill-seeking artist. Each transaction a notch on a belt she wished to burn. The money mounted. A safety net woven from threads of her dignity. Paying down debts and funding Sophia's wardrobe fittings. The seamstress's bills arriving like small victories. But the toll carved deeper. Mirrors reflecting a woman adrift. Her scrubs hanging looser on frames thinned by skipped meals and restless nights. Colleagues at the ER noticed. The charge nurse pulling her aside one humid afternoon. Brow furrowed over charts. Taking care of yourself. Ames. Can't pour from empty. Amelia forced a grin. Muttering about family stuff. The lie smoother now. Worn like a second skin. She nodded through the pep talk. Clocking out early for once. Wandering the High Line instead of heading home. The elevated path a green vein through concrete canyons. Wildflowers nodding in the breeze off the Hudson. There. Amid the tourists and dog walkers. She let the tears come. Silent and scalding. The skyline blurring into abstractions of what her life might have been. A practice with a woman from the oncology ward. Soft-spoken and kind. Evenings debating books over diner pie. Or pediatrics. Tiny hands trusting in hers. Futures she could shape without shattering her own. But Sophia's shine demanded sacrifice. The sibling bond a vow etched in blood and loss. She wiped her face. Descending to the streets below. The pull toward home magnetic. Inevitable. Sophia waited with cold lemonade and take-out sushi. Spread on the fire escape where the evening cooled marginally. The city a symphony of horns and chatter below. They ate in companionable silence at first. Chopsticks clicking. Until Sophia set hers down. Gaze fixed on the horizon. Director pulled me aside today. Leads out. Cocaine scandal. I'm in. Full lead. Amelia's world tilted. Joy surging pure and fierce. Her arms engulfing Sophia before the words fully landed. Holy shit. Soft. Lead. You. Sophia laughed. The sound muffled against Amelia's shoulder. But pulled back with eyes shining too bright. Suspicion flickering. Yeah. Me. And I couldn't have. Without you. Covering rent. The classes? Everything. How are you doing it? Mel. Really? The question landed like a spotlight. Amelia's pulse thundering in her ears. She busied herself with a roll. Wasabi burning her tongue. Buying time. Overtime. Side gigs. Nothing glamorous. Sophia's hand found hers across the metal grating. Squeezing until it hurt. Don't bullshit me. I smell it on you sometimes. Perfume. Smoke from bars you don't go to. The air thickened. The distant rumble of a train underscoring the silence. Amelia met her gaze. Hazel locking on green. The truth a tide rising. She had rehearsed denials. Deflections honed sharp. But Sophia's eyes stripped them bare. Pleading and fierce. It's for us. Soft. For this. The show. Your shine. Whatever it takes. Sophia's breath hitched. Confusion twisting to horror as pieces slotted. Whatever it. Oh God. Mel. No. Tell me no. Amelia's voice cracked. The dam splintering. It's not forever. Just until opening. The money's good. Clean. I set boundaries. Sophia recoiled. Hand withdrawing like burned. Her face paling under the fire escape's rust. Selling yourself. For me. Jesus. Amelia. We're family. Sisters. There are other ways. Loans. I could wait tables more. Amelia reached for her. Desperate. But Sophia stood. Pacing the narrow platform. Arms wrapped tight around herself. Don't touch me. Not now. The rejection stung deeper than any client's indifference. Amelia rising slow. Voice pleading soft. Soft. Listen. Parents left us nothing. The house sold for pennies. Debts chasing us like ghosts. Your talent. It's the only light we have. I can't let it flicker out. Sophia whirled. Tears tracking mascara black. And what about you? Your light. Fading for mine. It's not right. None of this. She fled inside. Door slamming with finality. Leaving Amelia alone under the stars. The city indifferent witness to her unraveling. Hours passed in vigil. Amelia on the couch with a bottle of gin swiped from a client's minibar. The burn matching the ache in her chest. Dawn crept in with birdsong mocking her solitude. Sophia's door still shut tight. She dragged herself to work. The ER a merciful chaos of fractures and fevers. Hands steady on tasks that demanded no emotion. But focus fractured. A pediatric case hitting too close, a girl Sophia's age. Dreams of dance crushed by a diagnosis Amelia couldn't fix. She clocked out shaking. Subway ride a blur to Central Park. Seeking solace in the ramble's tangled paths. Leaves whispering secrets she couldn't decipher. Sophia texted mid-afternoon, rehearsal. Need space. Talk later. Amelia pocketed the phone. Wandering the reservoir's edge. Water lapping gentle against her turmoil. She sat on a bench. Watching joggers and families. Lives unscarred by the choices that bound her. The desire for Sophia. Long simmering. Boiled over in solitude. Memories flashing of shared baths as teens. Innocent touches turning charged in retrospect. The forbidden pull she had buried under duty. Love. Twisted and true. Demanding more than she knew how to give. Evening brought confrontation. Sophia home early. Face set in determination softened by regret. They faced off in the living room. Air thick as pre-storm hush. I get it. Mel. The why. But the how. It ends. Now. Amelia sank to the couch. Exhaustion claiming her. Can't. Not yet. Opening soon. The bills. Sophia knelt before her. Hands framing her face. Thumbs brushing cheeks wet with unshed tears. Then we find another way. Together. No more secrets. Her lips brushed Amelia's forehead. A sisterly gesture that ignited sparks. Bodies leaning closer in the charged space. Amelia's breath caught. Hands rising to Sophia's wrists. Holding rather than pushing away. The air hummed. Desires unspoken cresting like waves. Sophia's eyes darkened. Confusion yielding to something deeper. Her thumb tracing Amelia's lower lip tentative. Mel. What is this? Between us. Always has been. Amelia's heart seized. The truth spilling in a whisper. Love. More than sisters. I tried to bury it. For you. Sophia's gasp was soft. But she didn't pull back. Leaning in until breaths mingled. The kiss tentative at first. Then deepening with years of pent-up longing. Hands tangling in hair. Bodies pressing close on the worn rug. It unfolded slow. Exploration born of familiarity turned intimate. Clothes shedding like old skins. Touches reverent and hungry. Sophia's skin soft under her palms. Sighs escaping like melodies half-sung. Amelia's name a mantra on her lips. They moved to the bed. Sheets twisting around limbs. The city fading to irrelevance beyond the window. Release came shuddering. Tears mingling on pillows. Love confessed in gasps and grips. Afterward. Tangled and spent. Sophia traced patterns on Amelia's back. Voice hushed. We'll fix this. Together. No more selling pieces. But dawn brought reality's bite. The Velvet Shadows email pinging insistent, tonight's client confirmed. Amelia deleted it. Resolve hardening. But doubt lingered like smoke. Sophia stirred. Pulling her close. Kisses lazy and affirming. Call them. End it. Amelia nodded. Dialing from the bathroom. Voice steady as she quit. The freedom tasting bittersweet. They spent the day in bed. Bodies rediscovering boundaries blurred. Laughter punctuating whispers of futures rewritten. Rehearsals called Sophia away by noon. But not before a promise, dinner out. Real celebration. No shadows between. Amelia wandered Washington Square that afternoon. Archway framing skies clearing to blue. Street performers drawing crowds she skirted. The weight lifted fractionally. Love's admission a bridge over chasms. But finances loomed. Debts undefeated. She applied for a nursing grant online. Fingers flying hopeful. Visions of pediatrics flickering alive again. Home found Sophia cooking. Pasta boiling fragrant. Her smile bright as stage lights. They ate on the fire escape. Feet entwined. Stories flowing easy now. Laced with touches that spoke volumes. The night deepened into more explorations. Boundaries dissolving in candlelight. Love's language fluent at last. Autumn leaves carpeted the parks in crimson and gold. The city's pulse quickening toward holidays that once brought dread but now whispered possibility. Sophia's opening night approached like a freight train. Rehearsals a pressure cooker of tweaks and tempers. Her shine undimmed but edged with nerves that Amelia soothed with late-night massages and murmured encouragements. The money under the floorboard dwindled strategic. Bills prioritized. A second job at a clinic filling the gap without shadows. Their love bloomed quiet. Stolen in alcoves and afterglows. A secret shared only in glances across crowded rooms. Hands brushing under tables laden with diner fare. Amelia's grant came through mid-October. A lifeline to night classes. The pediatric rotation a horizon she chased with renewed fire. Colleagues toasted her in the break room. Coffee cups raised to futures reclaimed. But it was Sophia's pride. Fierce and unfiltered. That anchored her. You're doing it. Mel. For you. Finally. They celebrated with a weekend upstate. Borrowed car rattling to the Catskills. Cabin rented cheap off-season. Leaves crunching under boots on hikes that left them breathless and entwined by firelight. Nights there blurred into days. Bodies mapping each other with leisure. Confessions spilling like the creek beside, fears of judgment. Dreams deferred. The depth of what had always simmered beneath sibling ties. Back in Brooklyn. Reality reasserted gentle. The apartment a haven strung with fairy lights Sophia insisted on. Scripts scattered like confetti. But tension simmered subtle. The cast's whispers reaching Amelia through grapevine, Sophia's focus drifting post-rehearsal. Eyes distant with worries unspoken. One evening, after a particularly brutal notes session, Sophia came home unraveling, collapsing into Amelia's arms with sobs that shook them both. It's too much. The pressure. What if I choke? Amelia held her through it, rocking slow on the bed. Kisses peppering temples and jaws until words gave way to touches that grounded. Love's rhythm a balm against stage fright's grip. Opening night arrived crisp November. The theater district alive with premieres and paparazzi flashes. Sophia's name in lights above the marquee modest but blazing in Amelia's chest. She sat front row. Heart hammering synced to the overture. The curtain rising on a world Sophia owned from first note. Her voice a clarion cutting through doubts. The audience leaning enrapt. Intermission found Amelia in the lobby. Tears discreet. A critic beside her muttering genius in the wings. Act 2 built to crescendo. Sophia center stage in a gown of midnight silk. Her eyes finding Amelia's in the crowd. A private vow amid the applause that thundered at curtain call. After party swirled in a loft uptown. Champagne flutes clinking amid industry schmoozes. Sophia radiant in spotlight's afterglow. Amelia her shadow content in corners. Nursing seltzer and pride. They slipped away early. Taxi to the river's edge. Skyline reflecting on black water as they walked arm in arm. Fingers laced bold now. You were born for this? Amelia said. Voice thick. Sophia stopped. Turning to face her under a lampost's halo. Hands cupping cheeks familiar and cherished. And you for me? All of it. The sacrifices. The love. It led here. Winter settled soft. Snow dusting brownstones like forgiveness. Their life a mosaic of routines enriched, Amelia's classes by day. Sophia's run extended 6 months. Nights weaving together in domestic intimacies. Breakfast shared and beds warmed doubly. Doubts lingered faint. Societal murmurs they navigated with care. Love's privacy a deliberate choice amid the shine. One Christmas Eve. Tree strung slim in the living room. Gifts wrapped in newsprint. They exchanged vows unspoken over eggnog, to build. Not bury, to shine tandem. Not at cost. Amelia watched Sophia from the window that night. Her silhouette against holiday lights strung across the street. Laughter bubbling as she waved at carolers below. The older sister. Born to protect. Now partner in full. The selling of self a chapter closed. Scars fading to stories of resilience. Their love? Unconventional bloom from familial roots. Stood testament to human depths, sacrifice not erasure. But evolution, shine not solitary. But shared. As snow fell silent. Blanketing the world anew. Amelia joined her. Arms encircling from behind. Chin on shoulder. Breath sinking in the cold. Together. They faced the dawn. Older. Wiser. Whole. The city hummed on. Indifferent guardian to their quiet triumph. Leaving echoes of grace in the spaces between.